So look, I want to get the panel discussion started off. So just to introduce the panel, first off there's Dr. Sarah Ingalls, the Secretary General of the Association of Consultant Engineers of Ireland. Eileen Faherty, Commercial Manager at Modular. We've Bernard Pierce, Project Lead at Capital and Estates ICT projects at HSE, and Janice Lynch, a circular economy and carbon and green procurement specialist in Arabs. I'd like to thank you all for joining in our panel. And I think we have a nice range of views here, from the professional bodies to the public sector clients, and then a build and construction, build and design perspective as well. I want to go, Bernard, I'd like to ask you, well, why did you get involved in Build Digital?
I think it was the downturn in the economy there back in 2000 and 2010, when a lot of people was exiting the industry. You know, we wanted to develop more efficient way of working, and that's when we switched to digital. And we started introducing, communication virtually with Zoom, and we started setting up a common data environment. So design team members and contractors, didn't have to be traveling because they were on, poor outturn. And then we saw the need. Then the other thing we saw the need. We have 4,000 premises where they're run through 10 different offices. We do the same thing 10 different ways. So we needed to just get one way to manage our business, and that's when we switched to implementing digital solutions. So we're running an integrated workplace management system now.
Excellent. And you're also involved in the industry as an industry member. So what attracted you to Build Digital to become an industry member with Build Digital?
Well, I think the whole future is digital. We've seen that. It goes back to a survey I think McKinsey did way back in 2015 when they surveyed 20 industries and where did construction industry come? It came 19 out of 20, so the only way was up. And then the whole future is, look at the digital native now. It has to be on a handheld device, and the only way you get that is through digital, and that's the expectation with the next generation coming through. And then the whole benefits that come from managing the estate.
Brilliant. Eileen, and yourself, what was the driver for you to become involved in Build Digital? Because you're also another industry member within the project.
Yeah, I think it was a timing thing with me. I just made a move from, I suppose I'd spent my life in tier 1 contractors, and I'd made a move to an SME, a small company that does modular wiring, prefabricated electrical components, and it just felt like the right thing to be involved in. Like, I was only recently there, and the challenges they faced with was very reactive in terms of, BIM and pre-quals, things like that. And it just felt like it was going to be worthwhile to be involved from that point of view.
Brilliant. And same question to Janet, what attracted you about Build Digital?
Thanks, Robert. So I'm in ARAP. So digital is a pillar in our corporate strategy. So all of our specialist disciplines have a digital strategy, a digital champion. So then the Build Digital attraction is the alignment across the industry. So we want to align with our clients achieving their sustainability goals and their net zero goals. So I'm in pillar 5, which is which is sustainability and circular economy. And I suppose like that thread of data that digital provides enables us to make evidence-based decisions and achieve excellence in projects. And then sustainability, like, it's got a triple bottom line of value. So if we can gather digital data on projects, it will enable us to consider carbon more effectively, resource consumption, and social value. So there's all those benefits of the project.
Brilliant. And I suppose there's a different kind of aspect with Dr. Ingle, because you're coming from a professional body. So you're also in our steering group. So what was the reasons why you find it was important to be involved in Build Digital as well?
Well, the Association of Consulting Engineers of Ireland has member firms that are obviously adopting digital technologies in order that they can bid for projects. So it's really important for them to increase their knowledge and expertise in that. So even from that point of view, from the association, I was intrinsically wanting to get involved. And then currently I'm the chair of the Construction Industry Council, which incorporates ACI, but also the Building Materials Federation, the Surveyors, the Architects and Engineers Ireland, and the Construction Industry Federation. And so representing them at this level on the steering group is very valuable and very important. And what's very important too is to represent the voice of the small and micro firms, because as we all know, the industry is made up of small and micro firms. And this is going to be a key challenge, I think, for this particular project in order to bring that voice for the small firms. As the Minister said this morning, like the interoperability of the digital technologies, bringing it across the sector from very small firm all the way across is going to be a key challenge, I think. I'm delighted here today that Angus O'Keefe, he spoke, he's from a member firm, Rowan and O'Donovan, and we have Siobhan Monley here as well from TJ O'Connor and Associates, and they're advocates on the standards pillar. And, you know, our members are going to be key to the successful implementation of this project, I believe.
Excellent, excellent. And I suppose, Sarah, just as well as that, like, it's great that you're getting involved. So what would you say to other people to encourage them to get involved, or what's the benefits there of getting involved at Build Digital?
Well, the benefits are going to be have access to research, access to training, access to information, but they need to understand what's in it for them, and they need to understand why they should take time out of their busy schedules, running on the treadmill to keep up, to get involved, particularly with living labs. I'd love, you know, the panel and perhaps others in the room to talk more about that. What is a living lab? What does it look like? Is it a laptop? Is it a group of people together? And I think there needs to be more on that. And I think there needs to be a bigger communication piece as well around that, because people definitely want to get involved. They see this as the future for the industry, but they need to have a clear pathway for it.
That's very good. And also came back to us in our survey about that they didn't understand what the living lab is. And I suppose that's what we're doing now as well. We're trying to put that detail, but we don't want to not allow somebody to come with a good idea. We're looking to get them good practices, but because we're restrictive. But that's a very good points to
and to try and get some quick wins to say, look, this is what this firm has done. Could you do something similar, or could you expand on this? You know, to give examples, I think is very useful.
Yeah. Sorry, Eileen, what do you think would be? What would you say to encourage people to try and get engaged with Build Digital?
Well, I suppose, look, like, we're all exposed to this stuff on LinkedIn and, you know, scrolling. It's a lot to take in. There's a lot out there. It's definitely opened my eyes to, you know, the level of tools that are out there, the technology, and it's very fast moving. So to be able to be in a room with the people that are there, that have the knowledge and experience as a SME, it's really useful for our business to be able to focus on what's coming up down the line with respect to all this.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. That's a very good answer, because the people in the rooms in our industry members are co-creating these solutions, and they're involved, and it's a very much a place for them to learn as well. Bernard, yourself, how would you encourage people to?
Yeah, well, actually, we've taken a step forward in that area, because now it's mandatory that when you're doing working for the HSE, you have to use the HSE common data environment. But then to everybody, it's at free cost. It's being provided by the HSE. So we encourage everybody to come on it. Anybody can get access when they are working on projects with us, and they have unlimited storage, unlimited access to the information that's on it. And that has really worked very, very well. So it has, in bringing people on board. And I think we need to do more of that. Yeah, to help it out. And the other thing I suppose that we've seen is, look, at on our digital journey, we've just seen, look, and it was up earlier on the slide, it's all about, you know, process, IT and people. But what we've seen in our journey, IT is about 10%, the process is about 20%. Look, at your greatest asset is your people, that's 70%. And, you know, I would say where we need to be putting the big investment is into the people, you know, and give them the tools. And then the other opportunities there are some tools that are out there that are free issue, even for the SMEs. You know, you can go and set up get an email account for people that don't have it. There's these virtual sites for holding meetings that are free for 20 minutes or 40 minutes. You know, even to tell people the free tools that are there, just to engender it for the small wins.
No, I suppose them free tools and meetings from people 3 or 4 years ago that wouldn't envisage it, even for us online here. It's now everyday occurrence that people go into meetings online and access them already. Also, I think it's very important, your point. I think in our mission statement is about uniting. So it is about people. This project is about people and united people. Janice, well, like, what do you think is important for encouraging people to come on to Build Digital or get involved with Build Digital?
Yeah, I'd echo what the other speakers said. So in our projects, we're faced with challenges. We measure the life cycle carbon of all of our buildings projects, and there's problems we've encountered and solutions we've come up with. But equally, the other members of the pillars have solved their own problems, and they bring that learning, and then we're creating the national solution. So the industry advocates, the vast, James showed a slide there with the research, that he had consolidated on circular economy. So bringing all the perspectives of all the actors in the industry and what we've been doing for the last few years in solving problems, I think means the solutions that are proposed will be very robust and we can influence them. So it's the people part of a technical solution, I think, is the most important and attractive for us. Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, that a lot of people have solutions that they've deployed in their own organizations because it was their pain point. So they invested the time and resources and solved them. But bringing all these solutions together, we could create that framework there. I think that's important that we look at that. I'd like to invite, is there any questions from the audience? Is there anything that the audience would like to ask the panel? Any questions? Sorry, there's a question there for Stephen. Is there a mic there? For our online attendance, I don't think it'll reach them.
In regards to SMEs like Eileen's company, where you're sitting in, in your digital journey, do you see a lot of, is the financial obstacle a big issue for you? Is it a barrier that
yeah, like it's one of the issues, but like it's a resource issue generally, that we have less resources to deal with the multiple types of prequels we have to fill out. It's very time consuming, and they're getting more complex as the years go on. And again with BIM, and we're dealing with different levels of BEPs from different clients, and we're usually at the tail end of the cycle. So previously, I would have had a lot of involvement at the ECI part of it, and you can be involved and put the fixes in place, but we're very reactive, and with a small company, a small team, it's very demanding on our time, which takes away our time and focus in other parts of the business that allow us to grow.
Thanks.
Very good, very good. Yeah, no, that was an interesting question at the SMEs, but I think the SMEs, everybody needs to take account for that. I know that with Bernard and Janet, even though you're a bigger company, your supply chain is SMEs. So you must acknowledge the importance of the SMEs within this. I suppose if just another question is, the industry what does the industry need help to help it with digital adoption? Does any of you want to?
Well, I suppose what we found when we're going out is that actually it broke down along two streams, and the two streams of digital out there was either build the asset, and people that were in the build the asset and move on. There was a digital solution for that. And what we found then, the other people then, when it's built, manage the asset and manage it well. There's a digital solution for that. And what we found into the market, there was nobody providing that fully integrated solution. So as part of our solutions, two firms actually came together, because when you build it, then you got to hand it over to manage it. You got to maintain it. You've got to do the facilities management. You have all the environmental, your energy, your power source. They have all to be managed. But it all starts at the construction stage, and then you need that system for the full life cycle.
Very good.
And that's what we found. So that's where the industry can advance.
Very good. Is there any? And
on that, it's important that the HSE and other big public sector clients are helping the industry to come along with that and supporting them, because and encouraging them to use specific tools for tendering and other opportunities as well. So there's a bigger picture there that has to trickle down, so that small firms can see that they're getting the help on this. And small firms will need this for collaboration with international design teams as well, because we're an island. We need the technology to innovate and to work with others around the world too.
Very good, very good. I suppose really, if you look at Build Digital, we've started off our journey. We have a 5-year funding model through the government. But after our by year 5, what would you expect the industry to look like? Does anybody want to?
Well, when the pandemic came in, we weren't really digital literate. Oh my God, we grew up very fast in those 3 years. And I think we have the momentum. I think we have the wind behind us. And I would say if we progress as much as we have in the last 3 years in the next 5, we're definitely on the right course. And the other thing then is, look at the digital natives now, is what they call the younger generation coming through. They expect the solution to be on a handheld device. I'm not being ageist, but that's where that is the future. They are the future. They expect technology. Sure, even the small little toddler now has the remote control thinking it's a phone, so, and they're the next generation again. So I think we're in a very healthy place, and the whole international then is saying it's all about digital now and environment. They're the two big areas.
I do see your point about the next generation coming forward digital, but I always found that even with my parents-in-law, they use apps because it actually does something for them. So what we need to do is we need to provide technology that provides solutions, and then no matter what age you are, you will adopt it. Does anybody else have any?
I loved Pat's point earlier about, you know, opening up to the gender, and you know, I know for me personally, I have young kids, and digital tools has allowed me to maybe take roles on that I wouldn't have been able to do 5 years ago with that in office every day. You know, obviously I still enjoy going to the office, but not every day, and that's going to be the key to getting that quota in to open up the numbers to construction. I think that's an important point that he made.
Very good, very good. Janice?
It'd be lovely in 5 years' time, I suppose, to see like a golden thread of data going through projects, so that carbon calculations or sustainability or resource calculations done early in projects are handed over with the data along the project. And then enablers like material passports, for example, and manuals for components that are installed would be shared along the life cycle of a project. And I think that would be a wonderful outcome from the project in 5 years' time. And we've also started looking at immersive technology. If your BIM is advanced enough, you can experience the streetscape you're designing, you can experience the building you're designing or the stadium you're designing through immersive technology and headsets. And that's a wonderful space to be in. And when I talk to those specialists in Europe, they're saying this is all digital enabled. You need the data underpinning it and the frameworks in place to enable clients and the design teams to experience that. So that would be a lovely place to be in, I think, in 5 years' time.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, because I suppose if you look at the speed of I suppose mobile phones advanced, if you look at 5 years ago what a mobile phone looks like, and if you think about a mobile phone looked like 10 years ago, where can we do? I'd just like to ask the audience again, is there any other questions that you'd like to put to the panel? Is there any questions? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Aidan.
Yeah, just the question I have for the panel is, this the Build Digital project, it's digital. And everyone, when they look from the outside in, think it's IT. You have to have an IT degree. The solutions and everything, like I'm at the other end, I'm still learning the new IT stuff. I get my 14-year-old daughter to show me how to do stuff. So that's how advanced they are. But in terms of education and bringing standards and stuff forward, both for my generation and the generation coming behind me, whatever solutions we come up with have to be simple to use. They have to be, you know, switch on, put in the data, get out without interpreting. I have to go 10 layers in to do this. So what's your viewpoint on the structure of any solution that we might be putting forward to enable more inclusivity for the digital platforms that we create?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Does any use? So I suppose it is very important that, and that came back in our survey, that needs to be user friendly of what we're doing. And universal design, I think, is a very important thing that we look at for any of the things that Build Digital provides. Sure, Exchange Hub. So it does need simplicity is the key for making people change towards new processes. It's very important.
I thought it was excellent, the mention of diversity earlier on, and this very diverse group in the room today. Immersive technologies, I suppose, give users an opportunity to experience our designs, and I think digital enables that and enables users to experience the rail. We have experiences that include, you can try being on a train service that we're designing, or you can stand nearby and experience the noise environment or the natural environment beside the train line. So I don't know if that might be something that it might be beneficial to incorporate more in the project going forward, the user experience, so that they can feed back into designs. I think that's a really excellent point, actually.
Yeah, no, that's a very way of looking at it, because I suppose really people have to use buildings, and the people that use buildings might not be able to engage with plans. So just get the mic here.
Yeah, I just wanted to reply back on Ellen. And what we should be building is a Google Maps, very easy usable kind of a map to this is where we start and that's where we want to end. Now, what are my scenarios of moving through? So, and everybody uses Google Maps. You know, there is not a problem with the usability. At every station or at every crossroad, you have different options, but you know, we should be able to overlay the journey we travel from start to finish with, you know, the cost model and the carbon model and the societal model. So I would think that it should be an augmented intelligence model where the IT element of it is the method, is the hardware, the knowledge that we all crave and need to upskill. We need to embed that into, like Google Maps. You know, we just need to make sure we make it as simple as possible. But it has been done. There are applications out there who can do that. So we just need to make sure we keep it simple, make sure that it's all encompassing, all inclusive, but very easy to use. Yeah.
I think Google Maps is a great example. I actually were thinking of that when the answer came back. I think the thing about Google Maps is, I suppose it developed from photographs that they didn't, satellite photographs that they didn't know what was going to be used for. But on the Google Maps, it also gives you real-time location of what's going on. So you're getting this real-time understanding of what's going on. So today I came in and I used a bus, and it also integrated with other sources of information to give you one system to look at. And that would be a brilliant goal for us to look at, that we're integrated on what we do. Is there any other questions? Sorry, another question there? Sorry, did anybody else want to respond to that? Excuse me.
I think we had, from a practical point of view, in our own pillar, we had a very good point made. I think it was SIG, Alan, it was SIG, the application they brought in. I think previously when they were using the paper model, every month they were down maybe 15-20% on their cash, trying to recover their monies every month, you know, and they brought in their, Alan witnessed it, the super digital system. Everything is from the factory to delivery, you know, there's no paper, it's all logged in live. And every month they were 100% cash in. Like that's a selling point for anybody, any SME, any contractor, any company, you know.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Just adding briefly to that point, if I may, is that, you know, we kind of bash ourselves over the head a bit. Construction is not particularly digitally savvy, but when you go and meet companies like SIG, Ireland, like John Siskin's son, like Jones Engineering, whoever, they're doing phenomenal work and they're using phenomenal technology. So it's with this project, it's about bringing that together and sort of presenting the best. This is a great case study. You know, you could excel to that, and this is the technology they're using, and so forth. So I think there's an awful lot out there on the island of Ireland that we need to just try and capture and put it into this knowledge base so people can have a look and say, wow, I wasn't really aware you could do that.
Sean Dennison, GS1 Ireland. It's a fantastic discussion, and I think a lot of the words we're hearing are probably going to be elements of what the final solution is. And we're hearing about data, the importance of data. There are companies now who consider defects in data in the same way that they consider defects in products. So that's kind of the level we need to get to at some stage. Excuse me. I think the other thing is interoperability. So the golden thread we talked about, the interoperability, the standards is underlying that, and identification from start to finish. And the identification enables identification for sustainability, for procurement, for all the other things that you want to do with the information for the handover that was spoken about. And we don't need to look too far at companies present here who are doing great jobs in other aspects of their business. If you take the HSE, for instance, the HSE on the clinical and medical side are doing great things. And they're doing great things on the vaccination program, for instance, that was the identification that went through that, barcoding and scanning and so on. So that all of those technologies are there, and the data is the important part. So we need to get the data right, we need to get the identification right, and we need to get the interoperability. And that's the boring stuff.
Thanks very much. I think that's a very good point, and I think that really we want good information management, and from good information management, then we can apply all the use cases that PJ talked about, getting the 3, 4, 5D. I think we'll ask our project, a new project director to come in. Are you happy to come in, and I'll close off the panel if that's okay with you. Thanks very much for your
Can I just
contributions.
make one more point?
Yes, sorry, yes,
I
sir.
think I want to commend yourself and Pat and Suzanne for getting to this point, because you've done so much work over the last while, and to really commend the entire construction sector group innovation subgroup led by PJ Rudden, because this project is part of those 6 or 7 actions that we talked about this morning. And I think it's going to be really key for each of those actions to not work in silos, but to try and have collaboration where possible, to have some overlap where it's appropriate, and to avoid duplication as well. So I think this is part of a bigger picture, and I hope in 5 years' time then we can look and see how everything integrated together to achieve success for the whole of the innovation subgroup project.
I have to agree. Together we'll succeed, divided we'll fail. We need to make sure that we're together on that. I'd like to thank you all and for your contribution. And now I'd like to welcome our new project. And now I'd like to welcome a new project director, Claire.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Good afternoon, everybody. I feel as if I'm holding you all back from the workshops now, and you're all penned and ready to go. So I might have a slightly different approach over the next few minutes. Some of you may already know me. Some of you who won't. So I'm going to take a moment and introduce myself. My name is Clare Eriksson. I'm head of School of Transport and Civil Engineering at TU Dublin. I'm a chartered surveyor and researcher by training and background. 20 years in the private sector before the last few years in academia. I feel privileged to have been asked to take on the role of the project director of Build Digital, a role that was previously and so expertly executed by Dr. Avril Behan. And I'd like to take this opportunity to offer my sincere thanks to Avril for everything she achieved for Build Digital in the first year, and hope that I do the role justice. Okay, so a lot of you in the room will have completed the Build Digital annual survey. Thank you. So the survey is designed to monitor change in respect of the Build Digital project's objective of delivering increased digital adoption across the entire Irish construction and built environment sector. As you know, the survey only really closed properly recently, and we're still in the process of analysing and integrating the results. Pillar 1 have already showcased some preliminary findings earlier today. I'm building on that, and I'm going to present a taster, as it were, of some of the other highlights of the survey. Please note that they're very preliminary. The breadth and depth of this survey is extensive. We've got a marvellous arsenal of information now at our disposal. So you are really getting the real tip of the iceberg today. Ultimately, the results of the full survey will be included in the Build Digital reports that have already been referenced today and are being published in the coming months. I will take this opportunity to look at the demographics of the survey respondents, because it gives us a clear picture of the validity, the relevance, and the importance of the overall survey results. So I'm effectively standing here today saying the survey results are robust, they're in depth, and we've got a very valuable data set at our disposal. We captured 261 complete and valid surveys. The majority were completed by individuals, with just over a quarter completing on behalf of entire organisations, and thereby capturing and representing the viewpoints of an even wider survey base. The majority of survey results came from large and medium-sized companies. In future years of the survey, we will hope to build on this and capture wider participation from SMEs in the project and within responses to the survey. And I'll be knocking on all of your doors next year for assistance in getting the survey promoted. One important characteristic, important to note, I think, and giving validity to the survey results, is that the vast majority of survey respondents to date in this year are in executive leadership or senior management positions. So the work of the Build Digital project is reaching the people who can influence real change in the sector and in the decision-making process. The operating regions of those completing the survey is broad, with the 2022 survey achieving good geographical reach of respondents working right across Ireland, the European Union, and further afield. So bodes well for all of their opinions and behaviours that we will analyse in the coming months. Survey respondents are working right across the built environment and construction subsectors, as you would hope, with activity in commercial offices, consultancy, housing, and the pharma, manufacturing and data centres featuring most prominently. Within the construction centre supply chain, our survey respondents are primarily, well, they identify themselves as primarily undertaking the role of consultant within a professional discipline or a BIM, information management discipline, or operating across multiple roles. Survey respondents work across all aspects of the asset and construction project lifecycle, again boding well for the rest of the detailed results. A wide range of professionals completed the survey, with notable participation from engineers, BIM information management professionals, and architects and planners. It will be important in future years to also drive the participation of property surveyors, developers, and financiers in the Build Digital work and survey. I hope these last few slides point to the strength and breadth of the survey respondents, and therefore the value to us all of their opinions and how we can use the survey findings to drive the future work and direction of Build Digital. Moving on to a few slides of non-demographic survey results and more related directly to the 5 pillar groups curated out of the detailed survey results. The survey verified that the percentages of projects using end-to-end digital information management or BIM processes are low. And instead, the majority of projects employ partial processes to varying degrees. And as I've indicated, all of this data needs further interrogation. The reasons provided for the main factors impeding the end-to-end process are primarily lack of client demand and insufficient knowledge. Lack of client demand featured in some of Ted's and Pillar 1 analysis earlier, and Angus commented on this as well. We have a number of qualitative comments around this point captured in the survey analysis that we will analyse in more detail. It's obviously a very important point to consider in terms of creating real change in this space. When organisations do use information management, BIM or standards processes, survey respondents identify a range of benefits, notably improved and faster collaboration and improved quality of the project with a reduction in errors and the need to rework elements as being the key features. The survey results provide a clear mandate for the work of Build Digital, particularly in relation to the development of an information management framework being extremely important, and we've been given a clear mandate as that being a priority for the project. We did get 2 qualitative comments that caught my eye in respect to this particular survey question. One respondent indicated that one of the biggest barriers to effective implementation of standards is the different interpretation and application of standards, and they called for clear and concise direction and guidance at a national impartial level on how the standards should be applied, and a conversation around avoiding confusion and interpretation, which I thought was very well articulated. Another individual commented, without a framework, the industry will develop at different rates and to different levels, making it very difficult to truly improve efficiency, quality, and accuracy. We are working towards publishing reports analysing the survey in Q1 2023, and our annual follow-up survey will be released earlier next year with the aim of showcasing in more of its entirety finalised results at next year's conferences. Working together, I think and I hope we can drive participation in the survey even more next year as awareness of the Build Digital project ramps up. To wrap up, I have a number of important thanks to make. Not just for today, but for all who have helped during the first year of Build Digital. I would like to thank Minister McGrath for his insights earlier today and the wider work of the deeper team. I'd like to thank all of our other speakers, including Pat Lucy and PJ Rudden. Thanks to our industry pillar advocates and to all of you from industry for your enthusiasm, drive and investment of your time into the project. Your participation is essential for the project's success. My thanks to the Build Digital academics and their respective institutions who, through their knowledge, research skills, professionalism and collaborative approach, are helping ensure the success of Build Digital. Thanks to the Build Digital project team, to Robert for being our anchorman today, and Suzanne and her team for all of the conference and Build Digital logistics during the last year. If I have inadvertently left anyone out, I apologise, and please remember that I'm new. And of course, final thanks to all of you for taking the time to join us at our conference today and contributing. Next year's conference is already set for the 24th of October 2023. Please do pencil it into your diary now, a bit of homework, and I will hand over to Robert, who will introduce the industry workshop.